Vechain's VET token had dropped by over 21% going into September. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the technical analysis on Vechain's VET token and where I think the price action is heading next. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful, informative, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe, and let's take a look at what's going on with the price action of Vechain. So here we have VET paired up with USDT. We're on the one-day Binance chart. Now, in the previous video updates, actually were a little while ago, we were talking about the idea of coming up and testing out that 200-day EMA. And well, the idea was to kind of get this break above the 50 EMA, 50 SMA, and basically go and target after that area. What we were looking for was 2.759 to 2.927. Now, unfortunately, we've broken down to a point where that is potentially no longer viable, but there is still some positive stuff to potentially see on the horizon for the VET token. So as you can kind of see, since we kind of had that top out on the 24th of August, we came down quite aggressively towards 21.91% on yesterday's wick low. Okay, so pretty aggressive sell-off. We've had a little bit of a bounce to the upside in line with the rest of the crypto market by approximately 8.01%. Now, the move to the upside did fall short of its targeted range. Okay, we'll go ahead and just take a look at where that actually landed because it was a 786. Okay, so you can see the 786 fib level at 0.02612. We wicked up to a high of 2638. Okay, so we kind of hit into that area, no close position above that 786. So our close position on the 24th was actually 2596. Okay, so falling short of closing above the 786. Rejection here, not only on the fib 786 level, but also the 50 SMA, the yellow line coming through the chart on the daily time frame. Now, this slippage to the downside is very aggressive. Obviously, came down lower than the previous swing low, which was the swing low on the 16th of August. That was 21.38. So it broke those kind of key levels of support. Now, it has still found this pocket of support down at this lower range, which is an interesting one. If we actually bring on our smart money concepts here, you can see this whole green pocket right here. This is a huge buying block for VET token, right? So reversal here is possible, but coming down this many times, and each time we've come down, we've kind of come down and closed lower. So we've had lower lows on the closes, not on the wicks, but on the closes. And there are, of course, a couple of lower lows here and here, not here, okay? But our close positions are lower lows. And that's quite interesting. It means that the support level or this kind of buy order block that is here and the kind of support that's being found within buying pressure is getting weaker over time. It's not getting stronger. Even though this is a higher low here on the kind of smaller time frame stuff, we can't get too excited about what's happening. There's also some minor change of characters. It's really hard to see, but I can see it just here on the small time frames as well for Vechain. So not looking overly great. We might bounce up into this pocket of previous resistance for sure. That's a possibility, but ultimately I'm looking at that week low thinking that we probably have more downside pressure here for Vechain. We haven't seen a significant bounce like we have on many other altcoins at the moment. Now, this in itself, let me turn off smart money concepts, clean out the chart just a little bit, is still a part of our bigger, broader collapse on Vechain's VET token, right? Because we are looking for 1.560 to the 2.698 as being our accumulation zone. This is where we think the maximum value is going to be had on Vechain's VET token on the daily time frame, right? Because a lot of the volatility to be expected on the smaller time frames for sure, but on the kind of larger time frames, then we are looking at great accumulation here. Now, I did mention that there's a bit of positivity. We are looking for upward momentum on the daily time frame, meaning that although there might still be some more volatility on the smaller time frames like the hourly and 4 hourly, we are looking for upward momentum, which means we haven't completely broken the idea of retesting the 200 EMA in its entirety. It's only under this particular structure here where we have this three-wave pattern that we fail. But there's actually a part of a bigger play which actually looks like this. If I go ahead and just grab the right tool, we have a W, X, and potential Y. Okay, if we come into our fib charts here and bring this in, you can see that this would basically be targeting out that 200 EMA at 28.77. The 786 sits a little higher as well, so we can look at that previous area of resistance at the 0.786 fib level at 2679, but 2877 would be the kind of typical range with the potential wick highs going up to 3.113. Okay, so we are still in this particular pattern. This pattern does get broken though if we come down lower than our wick low on the 5th of August, which is 1.890. Anything lower than 1.890 is going to void this idea. And of course, there is still this idea as well of a bearish pattern on the large time frame as well, which means that we could potentially still see this move to the upside only to collapse down and come down into those deeper ranges. That idea, and of course that kind of structure, is broken if we rally up higher than 0.386. Okay, so if we come up higher than 3.386, then of course we'll break that structure. We won't have that one. But as you can kind of see, and I can see the comments as well in some of these videos, I find it quite humorous, because yes, we talk about breaks to the upside, breakouts, and we talk about, these structures kind of finishing off, but they are part of a bigger bearish structure, right? And then some people say, how can you have a breakout and a breakdown all in the same video? It's all because you don't appreciate the time, the frames that go into this stuff, and how much patience is actually required. You can see here there's a potential run to the upside, but it's a part of that's a relief rally of a part of a break to the downside. And that's kind of where many cryptocurrencies are sat at the moment. So for Vechain here, if we kind of remove the larger macro picture, a lot of people will be hyped about the idea of this run to the upside. That's going to be potential quite lucrative, right? We are talking about 30% move. I want to say potentially up to 40% move to the upside to find that 200 EMA. Now that 200 EMA is moving down, so again, those percentages are going to vary depending on obviously how much time it takes to play out. I can't time the market. This could take a week, it could take 3 months to play out. I don't know how to time the market like that, but I am anticipating a relief rally in the first couple of weeks of September. Now we haven't really seen a great growth at the moment, but we are looking for that run to the upside. Once we kind of get into kind of the second half of September, I think the historical rectember is potentially going to take hold, specifically when we have the Federal Reserve looking to do an interest rate cut. And that's going to have a negative impact on the crypto market as a whole. Okay, specifically, Bitcoin being a stock market, the stock market being heavily, essentially the stock market, but Bitcoin being correlated to the stock market, specifically with the ETFs and all that kind of stuff, we are more than likely going to be seeing the entire crypto market pull back quite aggressively. Now, I do think the market has tried to price this in. As you can see with some of this most recent moves to the downside, I think the market has been trying to price in the idea of a Federal Reserve pivot or a cut of interest rates, which is an incredibly bullish thing, but it happens when liquidity is at its worst. And we know the market is incredibly illiquid at the moment. And so what we're looking for here is to see a little bit more volatility to the downside, more panic, more kind of bleeding. But I do think it's going to be a knee-jerk reaction just for a few weeks, potentially a month to 6 weeks or something like that effect. And as we kind of close off, Q3, go into Q4 and go into Q1 2025, we're going to be in a really, really strong position, not just for Vechain, but for the entire crypto market. Now here you can see that this is a part of a fantastic 5-wave move to the upside, and so accumulating anything lower than 2.698 to me seems like the best value for Vechain's VET token. Yes, sure, prices may go down deeper than where they are today, but ultimately this is a great pocket of accumulation, right? We don't need to worry about whether we're going to get maximum value for what we're buying, but we need to just be focusing in on dollar cost averaging and building out those positions rather than just waiting and hoping that maybe prices will go down even deeper. Ultimately, they're all buying opportunities, right? Obviously, if you're limited on fiat, then obviously you're going to try to maximize that the best you can. But essentially, we're in the pocket of accumulation as far as I am concerned. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I personally see it. I'm obviously no financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice. All I can do is tell you my thoughts and opinions on how I would approach the market. And I would approach the market as looking at the market here, saying we're in the kind of accumulation zone lower than 2.698. We want to accumulate. Anything lower than 1.318, which is our low from over in June 2023, that does potentially change things a little bit. But for the most part, we are still in this idea of a fantastic run to the upside where we are looking for new all-time highs on Vechain. 5-wave patterns are never alone. We expect this to be an impulsive breakout of a 53535 structure that spans pretty much months going into kind of mid to late 2025, where we are looking for Vechain's price action to be somewhere between 31 and 77 cents. Are we going to hit $1? Possibly, but it's, a long shot. We are looking to just basically come up into previous all-time highs with a clean focus on that 1.618 coming in at 20 cents. So lots of positivity to be seen on Vechain's price action on a macro scale, just a lot of volatility on the smaller time frames that is kind of, a little bit off-putting or a little bit daunting for many crypto investors who maybe are not as used to it as more seasoned investors like we are here at Cheeky Crypto. But you guys can let me know what your thoughts are on all of this in the comments down below, or join us in our free Discord server where we can continue the conversation there. And if you haven't done so yet, guys, check out this video right here. It's not one you're going to want to miss.